In celebrating His Holiness, we are not only honouring a spiritual leader, we are recognising a moral compass, because he has never wavered in the pursuit of truth, tolerance and dignity. The story of his homeland of Tibet is one of both tragedy and resilience. Since 1950, the Tibetan people have faced the erosion of their religious freedom, language and cultural identity. Monasteries have been destroyed, sacred traditions suppressed and dissent punished. More than 150 Tibetans have self-immolated in desperate protest, an act of unimaginable sorrow born from the pain of being silenced in your own land. Since the disappearance of the 11th Dalai Lama in 1995 at the hands of the Chinese authorities in Tibet, Beijing has sought to dominate the sacred process of identifying the future reincarnated Dalai Lama. It has undermined a centuries-old custom which, for the first time in the history of Buddhism, risks being dominated by state-sanctioned manipulation and intimidation instead of time-honoured tradition. Today, the breakdown of human rights in Tibet continues, peaceful protest is criminalised, religious practice remains tightly controlled by the state. Tibetan children are being separated from their families and forced into boarding schools where their language and identity are diluted. It is a mark of His Holiness' humility that he speaks not only for Tibetans, but for all those who suffer oppression in silence. Through exile, through displacement, through the long journey of statelessness, His Holiness has carried with him the dignity of Tibet. In doing so, he has kept Tibet's light shining on the world stage. Australia is home to a small but very proud Tibetan community, and I've seen firsthand their dedication to ensuring that Tibet's culture and the story are not forgotten. Their presence enriches our national fabric and reminds us that solidarity must never stop at borders. That is why tonight we must also reflect on our own responsibility. In Australia, we are fortunate to live in a democracy where freedom of belief, of speech and of identity are protected and promoted. But with those freedoms comes the moral obligation to speak out for those who cannot. This includes speaking out against human rights abuses in Tibet. It means fighting for the preservation of the Tibetan language and religion in exile. It means supporting Tibetan Australians and giving them the dignity and recognition that they deserve. And it means maintaining an open dialogue with Tibetan representatives, including the Central Tibetan Administration. As we celebrate His Holiness the Dalai Lama's long and extraordinary life tonight, let us recommit ourselves to the ideals he represents: compassion, courage, and the unrelenting pursuit of justice through peaceful means. To Your Holiness, your tireless efforts have inspired generations. You have taught us that strength lies not in domination, but in dignity. You have reminded the world that Tibet is not just a place, it is a people, a culture, and a spirit that refuses to be extinguished.